JavaScript tools, and here we are going to learn JSLint and JSHint. These are the set of topics. So we are going to learn what is and why you want to use JSLint, and then we are going to see the things that are being flagged by JSLint, and we are going to also learn improved version of JSLint, and that is called the JSHint. Okay, so what is JSLint? So JSLint is a static code analysis tool for JavaScript code. Okay, so different languages have their own static code analysis tool. So Java has a bunch of static code analysis tool, and JavaScript has JSLint as a static code analysis tool. So basically, it flags out some of the coding styles that are not compliant with recommended practices. Okay. This one is developed by Douglas Crockford. This is pretty famous guy in JavaScript community. Okay, so he built this tool to make sure that every JavaScript developer, in fact, follows a certain set of rules. Because JavaScript is pretty flexible language. What that means is that unless you are careful, you could actually write very much of a spaghetti code, right? So Douglas Crawford actually came up with this tool so that by running JSLint in your JavaScript code, it actually flags out all the areas that could be improved from the best practice guideline perspective. Okay. It is provided primarily as online tool, but you could also use command line version of it. So in our lab, you can actually do both. Okay. So this is a JSLint.com. So when you go to JSLint.com, and you are basically seeing this page, and you are going to copy your JavaScript code right here. Then you're going to click JSLint to see whether your code is in fact following the guidelines or not. Okay. Okay, so you can run JSLint at the command line, and we are going to actually use JSLint plugin to Node.js installation. So you have to install Node.js if you have not done so yet in order to run this command line tool. Once you have Node.js installed on your system, then you can install JSLint plugin in a global fashion. Then you can actually say JSLint, and then you provide a JavaScript file. Okay. Let's see. Terry said the JSLint instruction link is broken. Oh, okay. It's in the lab document. Okay, so let's. I'll fix it. And JSLint plugins are also available for text editors and IDEs as well. Okay, so we are not going to actually play around with these tools. We're going to mostly focus on online version and the command line tool in our hands-on lab. Okay, so let's talk about the things that are flagged by JSLint. So first, global variables. As I said, usage of global variables is strongly discouraged in your JavaScript code because it's highly prone to a problem. Okay, different library and different code will override these global variables. Okay, so this is basically what I just said. JavaScript biggest problem is the dependence on global variables, particularly implied global variables. Implied global variables are variables that you have inside your function but without using var. Okay, so you think you're using local variable, but by mistake you just skip the var the keyword, and that becomes a global variable. Okay. So if variable is not explicitly declared, usually with a var statement, then JavaScript assumes the variable is global, and this could actually mask misspelled names and other problems. So this could actually cause unintended problems. So what JSLint will flag out is that JSLint expects all variables and functions are declared before they are used or invoked. Okay. In JavaScript, you could actually use a variable or function even if they are declared later than that particular usage. Okay, that's okay in JavaScript syntax-wise, but that is a bad practice. So JSLint recommends all variables and all functions are declared first before they are used. Okay, so this allows to detect implied global variables as well. Okay, so by having all variables up front, okay, there is no possibility of having the global variables inside your function. Okay, and it is also good practice because it makes program easier to read. Okay, so this is an example. You say var, and then these are all global variables. It must appear before the usage of these variables. Okay, moving forward, scope. The issues. So as we talked about yesterday, you know, the scope in JavaScript is through a function, not a block. Okay, other languages such as Java, the scope is determined by a block. Okay, opening bracket and ending bracket, and that is not the case. Okay, so basically, what JS wants you to do is, it expects blocks only with a function and other the if, switch, while, do, for, do, and try statements. Or in general, like a function is the only one that should have a block. Right? So because JavaScript does not have a block scope, it has a function scope, it is wiser to declare all functions variables at the top of the function. So if you have to declare local variables, you want to declare them at the top of each function. Okay? Syntax-wise, JavaScript allows you to declare those variables, at the end of the function. Okay, but that's not good practice. Okay? Also, it is recommended a single var statement is used per function. So if you have a multiple variables, you want to declare them using a single var statement, meaning so var x comma y comma and things like that. Okay. The var keyword. So issues. JavaScript allows var definitions to occur anywhere within a function, and JSLint is more strict. So this is something I talked about in previous slide, right? So whenever you declare variables using var, you want to do it at the top of the function or at the top of your page. So what JSLint expects is that a var declared only once, and that will be declared before it is used. Okay? And again, expect the function to be declared before it is used, and we talked about that already. And it doesn't want the parameters. Parameters will not be also declared as vars. Parameters are not, you don't want to actually use the same name for vars as well as parameters. Okay. JSLint does not expect arguments array to be declared as a var. And JSLint does not expect the var will be defined in a block. So again, it should be done inside a function. Okay, so this is somewhat similar constraint we talked about in previous slide. So define all variables at the top of the function. Eval is evil. So this is from Dave Crawford, and don't use it. So I mean, if you see some of his video casting screencast, you will actually see him talk about don't use eval because it's evil, mainly from the security standpoint. So if you have to use eval, he claims that your coding is bad. I mean, in most cases it indicates a presence of extremely bad coding. Okay? So don't use it. Okay? Constructor function. So we talk about the concept of constructor function, and constructor function is behaving. I mean, it's actually providing a template from which you can create a JavaScript object. Okay, so this is not in fact a regular function. So this is a template. So you want to name constructor function starting with a capital letter. Okay, so basically what JSLint does is that the constructor function must be with the initial uppercase. Okay, so if you're trying to use constructor function that does not start with the initial uppercase, it will flag it out. Okay. JSLint does not expect to see function invocation with initial uppercase unless it has a new prefix. So if a function has initial uppercase, then whenever it is used, it should be used with a new prefix, because it plays the role of the constructor function. Okay. And so, when you have a constructor function that start with the upper case, and that should be considered as the constructor function. JSLint does not expect to see new prefix used with functions whose name does not start with initial uppercase. So if you have a function that does not start with, that start with a lowercase, then that should not be used as a constructor function. Okay. There are actually a few other the properties. So in a JavaScript is loosely coupled and dynamic object language, dynamic type language. So you cannot tell the type of those properties by looking at the source code. Okay. So what JSLint does is that it actually provides some assistance. So at the bottom of the report, it displays all the properties. Okay, so by looking at those properties at the bottom of the page, you can actually kind of scan through, and they are in fact the correctly spelled, and basically it gives you another opportunity to look into all these properties in a single location. Okay, use strict. So use strict is introduced in ECMAScript 5 version 5. And basically use strict is providing more strict rule. It will actually enforce more strict rules. If you're not using use strict, you're going to in fact see JSLint is flagged out. Okay, so you're going to see this message. Problem at line number 1, missing use strict statement. So use strict is actually, as I said, is introduced in ECMAScript 5. It allows you to place a program or function in a strict operating mode, it actually prevents certain actions from being taken or throw more exceptions. So basically is, from a language perspective, it actually imposing a bit more strict rules. Okay, so for example, it catches some common coding mistakes by throwing exceptions. Okay, it prevents throw errors when relatively unsafe actions are taken, such as gaining access to global object. It disables features that are confusing and poorly thought out. Okay, so this is actually language level support for enforcing kind of best practice guidelines on writing JavaScript code. Okay, so let's do exercise 1. So let's see exercise 1. Oh, I have that, JSLint. Oh, I have to go to labs. Labs, JSLint, and lab documentation. So let's do exercise 1. So we are going to go to JSLint.com. So I'm going to actually open another new window here. And I'm going to go to JSLint.com. Oops. Oh, I misspelled it. JSLint.com. Okay. So we are going to copy this code. So this code has some practices that are not desirable. So let's just copy this guy here. Okay. And you just copy it. Okay. And we could actually set some options. Okay. So if you actually do this without any setting options, you're gonna actually see lots of in fact too many of the problems. Okay, so we're gonna actually, these are the options. You can actually turn it off and turn it on. So two options we are going to turn on. Basically I want to tolerate. So I don't, I know that I don't use strict the statement. So I'm gonna just make it true. So here, so clear. Where is tolerate. Oh, it's actually changed. Okay, so yeah, so this is the same white spaces, and okay, so it looks like missing use strict. It's not one of the options yet. So this is the tolerate eval for statement for this. Okay, so let's try that. Yeah, I should actually update the documentation. And in terms of predefined global variables, so we're going to actually use a document. Okay, document like this, type it, and then we are going to perform JSLint. Okay, so JSLint. Okay, so it came up with, oh, so you have to actually add the code. So this one, okay, and JSLint. Okay, so we have a few the warnings. Okay, so how many warnings we got? About 10. Okay, so we're gonna actually remove these warnings by changing code. Okay, and it does also have a function import. You know, global document, yeah, all variables and things like that, and the properties. Okay, so we have 3 properties: age, get element by ID, and the name. I'm kind of curious why get element by ID is considered as a property. That is interesting. Oh, from a document, yeah. So it's because we actually set document as a global. Okay, all right. So now we are going to deal with the combine this. Yeah, so we're gonna actually deal with these problems. So the expected. Okay, so expect use. This is one problem. Okay, so it looks like it doesn't allow me to, you know, to do that. And we have unused an object, and we have unused case, and expected semicolon at the end. So if you take a look at the code, we do not have a semicolon here, right? So that is the problem he's talking about. And undeclared, so another string has not been declared. So we are using another string here, but it has not been declared. Okay, and unexpected this. So this is unexpected. Yeah, I'm using this in unexpected fashion here. Okay, here. Okay, and then unused a person, unexpected new. So here. Oh yeah, so this is a case. You see, we are actually using this person function. This is supposed to be a constructor function, but the person is defined with a lowercase, right? So we are going to change person with a capital, and then these two will be addressed. Okay, so those are basically what we are going to change. Okay, it looks like a combined with a various vast statement. Yeah, that is not actually a problem anymore, seems like. So one of the suggestions in old version of I think JSLint is actually having everything in a single var, but I guess that's not actually the warnings anymore. Okay. All right. So you can actually change this one. Yeah. So let's actually solve this problem. So let's see. We unused a. So you know we can actually unused. So this is not used. So we are removing this guy, and which one is not unused? Unused AS. So we're gonna actually remove this guy as well. So it's not used. Okay, and in terms of person, so we're gonna actually call capital P. Okay, and now let's actually which one? Okay. So and unused. Oh, so we oh, okay. So we have to so change this guy to person. Okay. So now, okay. So we have the 5. So undeclared another string. So undeclared. So yeah. So we're gonna actually declare here. Okay, so we declare and JSLint. Okay, so now unused another string. Oh, okay, so var let's see, another string. Why is not the it is actually used here. Let's actually say test, and let's see. So this is one, we know that. Unuse another string. So it says it's not use another string. That's interesting. We actually used it, but it says oh yeah, so this is actually not a good thing here. So yeah, if is okay. Yeah, so if should actually have the this block. Okay. All right. So some of the suggestions. By the way, a bracket has a JSLint integration. Yes, that is correct. Okay. Yeah. It might not be used if it is false. Okay, another string. Okay. So yeah. So I'm gonna actually let you guys actually try these things as well. So as long as you get some sense of how things work. Okay. So that is exercise 1. Yeah, I need to actually update the documentation because the latest version of JSLint seems to be behaving a bit different. Okay. All right. So yeah, we did this. Yeah. So we did this person, and then we cover a person. Yeah, we actually define here a person, and then a person is already defined. So we actually remove that. Okay. So now in terms of running JSLint at the command line, it is assumed that you have installed the node.js, which I have done that already. So you can just go to node.js, and then you can just download the node.js, and you can just install it. Okay. And then once it's installed, that you can actually install the JSLint plugin. So in my case, I have already installed it, but let me just install it one more time just to show it. npm install JSLint and global installation. Okay. So once it is installed, then you can actually you can create the test.js file somewhere. Okay. So and then you should be able to run it like this. Okay. So I'm gonna actually create the test.js file that contains this code, and then you can just run test.js file. Okay, and then it will give you a command line version of the JSLint. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna let you guys to do this lab. Oh, it's already 12:30, so lunchtime. So I'm gonna give you guys about the about 15 minutes to do this lab, and then 30 minutes lunchtime. So we will be back at 12:15. Okay. So since we are using brackets, you can use JSLint plugin that comes with the bracket. So here we are going to actually use interactive linter. So you are going to select the extension manager and click available, and then you're going to just type JSLint, and we are going to use interactive linter. So in my case, it's already installed, so you're going to just install it by clicking install. Okay, and then you are going to open a file, open a folder. So in this case, I'm going to just open samples folder here. I'm going to actually go to labs directory, labs, and JSLint samples directory and testng. So it actually give you an indication where things are supposed to be improved based on the recommendation of JSLint. So let's take a look at this guy. So it says another an object is defined but never used, and this one is also, I think, the same thing. Oh, somehow actually I can click this guy and then this guy, but somehow if I click from the top, it didn't work. So let's actually take care of each of this. So here I'm gonna just for now comment out, and then this one is also document is not defined, and it's not the never used. So again, we're gonna just comment this guy out for now. And this one missing semicolon, so we are going to add semicolon at the end. And here this one says another string is not defined. So here let's actually try to define another string. So here var another the string, and we're gonna call it test. We're gonna assign test like this. Okay, so that's taken care of. And this one is a person is defined but never used. Okay, so in this case let's actually give another line that actually use it. So here we are gonna say a person dot age equals 20 or something like that. Okay, so that is taken care of. In this case, looks like the JSLint plugin does not detect the case of the constructor function. So we want to use capital letter for constructor function, and here we want to change this one as well. Okay, so that actually addresses the problem. Okay. Next is JSHint. Yeah, so JSHint is on its own website called the JSHint.com. It is in fact the derivative of fork from JSLint, and it looks more intuitive UI than JSLint. But you know, since we have used the bracket seems to be actually even better. Okay, so let's actually take a look at the. You can also run JSHint at the command line as well. Okay, but again, usage of command line tools in this case is not that much useful because you want to actually have that problem right next to your line of code. Okay, again, the plugins available. Okay, I should actually add the brackets here as well. Okay, so exercise 2. So here we are going to do exercise 2. Since we have used the brackets, you know, this might not be as critical as the other tool anymore, but let's actually try to use this guy again. I'm going to open another window here, and then I'm going to go JSHint.com, and here we are going to copy this code. Okay, and now you can actually see some of the warnings. So 5 missing, yeah, so line number 5, let me see actually, yeah, so if I click this missing semicolon here, and then undefined variables, another string, so here we are going to define var another string like this, and the 3 unused variables. Okay, so a object, a object, you know, we're gonna just comment this guy out. Okay, comment this guy out, and then elements, so this is also not used, and then a person, so here for a person we are going to actually use it, a person, and that age is 24, something like that. Okay, so it actually addresses all the warning messages. Okay, so I am going to ask you to do, well actually, yeah, I'll give you just a few minutes to try these things out. Okay, so this is probably less critical given that we are actually using the brackets plugin, and you can also actually run JSHint at the command line. Okay, so okay, so I'll give you a few minutes to finish this up, and we'll move on.